Let's assume for a moment that you are a narcissist.
Okay, that's
Okay.
gonna get clipped.
I know. I know.
Ego is our word for the day, and it's getting crazy in the pirate software world because it seems like everybody wants to sneak a lick into pirate software. I mean, even I gave into temptation. And it got so crazy that Carl Jobs' daddy, King Billy Mitchell, snuck in a weird post saying that he'll sue pirate software. Well, maybe Billy thought that when he won against Mr. Carl, he got his name cleared. And no. Now if you thought pirate software's ego reached its final form in the first video, well, I've got news for you because that wasn't his final ego evolution. That was just Super Saiyan for him. Because now, my man unlocked his full ultra ego. Because after the Stop Killing Games petition hit 1 million signatures, around late June to early July, Pirate didn't back down and he doubled down, tripled down, and cooked himself in the process. Now in this video, I'm just gonna break down how Pirate Software handled the situation after Stop Killing Games petition hit 1 million signatures. Because oh boy, I think I can definitely say this for sure that he is the most egotistical man that I've ever seen. Probably worse than Majin Vegeta himself, because Vegeta at least puts his ego down if need be, but for Pirate? Oh no, all of you. Now before we get into the recap, yes, I know that the Stop Killing Games movement isn't looking too hot right now, but you know, that doesn't change the fact that Pirate Software acted like a colossal douche throughout the whole thing and objectively got things wrong. And that's the part I only care about. So no, this isn't a sure W for the SKG movement, but it's more of an L for Pirate Software's ego video. So fast-paced refresher here. Pirate Software, aka Jason Thor Hall, indie dev and streamer with the mic and the Messiah complex, made a big rant video attacking the Stop Killing Games initiative. Now he claimed that the Stop Killing Games would kill live service games, force developers to release server binaries, and basically usher in the apocalypse. But all he really did was light a match under the movement, giving it free marketing and drawing attention from big names like Moist Critical, Jacksepticeye, Asmongold, and PewDiePie. And Pirate Software's video triggered this Streisand Effect, where he tried to bury the SKG and ended up launching it into orbit. And we called that out in the first video, but now here's part 2. And this is his response after SKG hit the milestone, and oh boy, it gets wacky. So what happened post 1 million signatures? So Pirate Software stepped away from off-brand games either because of the negative press or internal pressure. Now I'm not really sure if he was fired or he quit, but I feel like he'd quit because I don't think his ego couldn't handle him being fired. Like, oh no, you're not firing me, I am firing you. But I'll quit because I don't like this company anyway. I imagine it's some shit like that, because that way he still has control. And also in the last parts of my video, I said that Pirate Software responded in a tweet thread right after the 1 million milestone, saying that he didn't really cause the movement to stall, and he claimed that it was already going down when he posted his video. Now, whether or not he is right, it doesn't change the fact that he misrepresented the initiative multiple times. And whether or not him talking about the initiative caused the decline in signatures, people will still get mad at him because in my opinion, he is a very unlikable dude. But he still has my respect because he doesn't really deter on who he is as a person, and I think that's commendable. And like I said again, maybe some of the downward trend was your video's fault, but regardless, people will still believe that you're the bad guy because of your massive ego and refusal to admit that you got some things wrong. Like, your ego made you the supervillain, not the graph. And now to set things up, because this man is just unbelievable and I think he dwarfs Ali Coca when it comes to ego, like Shaquille O'Neal to Kevin Hart. Now, if you guys don't know who Ali Coca is and you know what happened to him, I'll put links in my video somewhere, I don't know. But he is another example of a very egocentric man. But like I said, Pirate Software kinda dwarfs him on that. Now let's get into the mind of Pirate Software to show you how narcissistic he truly is in my opinion, because you know, of course, I'm not a psychiatrist like the one I'm gonna show you momentarily. Now to be clear, I am not diagnosing him as a narcissist, but Dr. K, the man behind Healthy Gamer GG YouTube channel, let me tell you, he came this close into diagnosing him as one. And also to show you that there's little to no hope in getting Pirate Software's ego down, even just a little bit. And yeah, I know their interview is old, but judging how Pirate Software is acting throughout all of his dramas, you can actually consider their interview as evergreen, and I'm gonna show it to you. Now, a very important note before we dive into the septic tank is that no matter how right you are, if you are a very unlikable person, people will still get mad at you. And I'm only saying this because this applies heavily to Pirate Software situation. Now moving on, the first clip I'm gonna show you is Pirate Software being confronted on why his drama keeps blowing up. Or like what he did to strike a nerve, even though he wasn't doing anything new.
Right, but my understanding of the situation is that you were kind of an ass about something involving a WoW raid. And then my guess is that you were kind of an ass with the way that you responded to it. Because you're really good at being an ass.
Well, it became kind of like an it issue, and it generated a lot of views.
Yeah, so...
And it just kind of went nuts.
And so I want you to just pay attention to that for a second. Because you're doing it again. Why did this blow up?
Because I was smug?
No.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Why did it amplify? Who's to blame for the amplification?
The answer is you, Jason. Straight up, the main reason why people don't like you is because you are in fact smug. Not just other content creator, because I mean that is a factor for sure, but your attitude towards the situation and your refusal to admit that you misinterpreted something. It's like you're pissing gasoline on a raging fire. Now keep in mind that this interview is about the hardcore World of Warcraft drama months ago. Now listen to how he responds.
The amplification I could generally say is Reddit and other content creators. Like I feel very steadfast in that opinion on that. I don't think this would have reached the audience that it did or become as large as it was on the internet without that.
So
you're talking over 100,000 viewers worth of people.
Yeah, so that I think is 100% true and is indicative of what the problem is, right? Because what happens, what I'm noticing that you're doing is like every step of the way, you made one tiny mistake. But the way that you are reacting, I don't think a fire can get this big without a content creator's interaction. And the way that you're responding to each of these situations is only fanning the flames. And I think you're doing something that is like absolutely hitting a trigger point. And I suspect that what you're getting into, just with the way that you describe things, it's very much like I did this tiny thing, and then all of this stuff is happening to me that I don't have any influence over. And objectively, these people are wrong. Objectively, I am correct. And when someone does that and says, I'm objectively right and you are objectively wrong, this is not what happened, this is what really happened, and by the way, all this shit is happening to me now, it's like a very does you kind of get what I'm saying? I'm trying very hard not to say certain words.
I don't see it that way though. Like
I know
see
you
it
don't.
As like an objective, objective, subjective. That I see it as it's more of a deep emotional response from people that don't care about me or they don't care about resolving the situation. They want it to continue in some way.
Yeah, so I think
I get it, but like I don't want to be a part of your story, right? It's like
right. So I think that's what's fueling the flames. You don't see it that way.
You see, and I want to show that because now his current situation proves how useless Dr. K's therapy session was, because it's the same exact scenario right now with the Stop Killing Games drama. And like he's fueling the fire because he's acting like he's better than everyone and making people feel stupid, and also acting like it's everyone's fault but him, because in his eyes he is objectively right and everyone else is objectively wrong. But he doesn't see it that way, therefore he can't do anything about it. You see what I mean? It's a tough nut to bash. But I digress. Now the next clip is the famous "that's the most arrogant statement on the planet, bro" moment.
I think sometimes the things that I talk about in regards to those types of things is misconstrued as arrogance or boasting, when in reality I'm just trying to give context.
So that is the problem right there. So I want you to listen to this phrase.
Sure.
This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality it's this. Yeah. That is the most arrogant statement on the planet, bro. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Okay. I don't see it that way, but all right.
Right? So, you don't see it that way. You're wrong.
No.
Right? I'm right. So you're subjectively, you're thinking you have blind spots. You're wrong. Like, I'm objective and you're subjective.
No.
This is not the way it's perceived. This is really the way it is.
Now you see how Pirate Software subconsciously fights back, and even though Dr. K wasn't even attacking him, because Dr. K was just stating back Pirate Software's line back at him, and he instinctively said no, like he's fighting his own ghost or something.
You don't see it that way. You're wrong.
No.
And then he suddenly realized that, Dr. K was not saying that I'm wrong, he's just stating back my line. And then, he paused and acted confused.
When I say I'm doing this for context?
Yes, when you're saying other people get it wrong and here's the reality of it. Like, go back and like we can like rewind the stream and just listen to the structure of your sentence.
That is me being adversarial against people that are trying to make it out like that is an arrogance thing, that it is a boasting thing, like I'm trying to push somebody else down. That is absolutely being adversarial against that kind of speech.
And again, Pirate Software is just proving how useless their session was, because whatever effort Dr. K initiated to help Pirate Software see that he is being kind of a douche, it just all loops back to Pirate saying, nope, you're wrong. Now this next clip is Dr. K tries to point out that he is being dismissive to pretty much everyone.
Over the last 2 hours, there's something about the way that I hear you talk that rubs me the wrong way. There's something about the way that you talk that seems dismissive. So I'll tell you where
No, I agree with that.
And I love how Pirate immediately proves that he is dismissive even before Dr. K says it. Dr. K is like, there's something that rubs me the wrong way about you. And then he's like, oh, then proceeds to agree. Now I'm actually surprised that he agreed, because when I heard that, I was half expecting the TVA to come from behind and arrest him, because that is like a clear disruption of the sacred timeline right there. And then here comes the clip where Dr. K comes close into diagnosing Pirate Software as a narcissist.
Please don't clip this out of context. Or if someone clips this out of context,
it's already done.
Please someone post underneath with a reply this portion, okay? So you say you do your best to look at it objectively and you conclude this is bullshit. And I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? So I
look at it objectively based on my subjective experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's assume for a moment, that you are a narcissist.
Okay. That's gonna get clipped.
I know. I know. But it's like, I think this is really where the money is. And this is not just about you. This is about everybody, myself included. I run this exercise with myself all the time. If a narcissist goes through the process that you go through, they will end up in the same place that you end up.
Which is likely why people make the accusation.
I didn't know they did that, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, that's the problem that you're dealing with. And it's
I don't know that.
Huh?
That's the thing. For me, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I know. Clip.
Right? So think about that, right? Like, that's the problem. And this is the problem. Like I don't know if this makes that, like, that's the problem, is that if I listen to you, are you someone who is objective, who has done like all the, like, is your representation thorough and objective? Or is this the construction of a narcissistic mind that's just defending itself and things like that?
The problem that leads into is that goes down to, are you willing to have a conversation with me? Or do you just want to believe the narrative that you already want to believe?
Agree 100%. That's why you're fucked, bro. Because the internet is not interested in having 90% of the internet is not interested in having conversations.
Now Dr. K's efforts on keeping the conversation non-hostile is astounding. Because from an outside perspective, it really did seem like he indirectly called Pirate Software a narcissist. Now, even though Dr. K said, oh, please don't clip this out of context, in any way I look at it, Dr. K basically said that a narcissist would also end up in Pirate Software situation. Because that is like saying that Pirate Software, bro, we're just pretending that you're a narcissist, but also if a narcissist went through what you did, they'd end up exactly where you are. Like, I was actually very surprised that Pirate Software didn't consider that as a hostile statement. Like, wow, the mental gymnastics was impressive. Bravo, Dr. K, bravo. So now we're back to the present, and yep, he goes full-blown ultra ego and repeats the same exact cycle. Like, he gets things wrong, refuses to admit it, acts like an ass, cries about the backlash, people get mad again, refuses to admit that he's wrong again, then the cycle just continues. And instead of saying, you know what, maybe I was wrong, and thus breaking the cycle, Pirate Software hit us with the most spiteful, passive-aggressive quote of all time.
I have been called a pedophile, zoophile, rapist, corporate plant, degenerate, narcissist, nepo baby, and many other names. And they attacked all the accomplishments over my life, despite physical evidence to prove to the contrary. And they also went after every job I ever held, trying to say that I never worked them, or if I did work them, that I never deserved them. So I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that your initiative gets everything you asked for, but nothing you wanted.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
I mean, That is a villain statement right there. That's like a final villain boss aura forming. That is a Herculean amount of hate. I mean, you can smell the arrogant stink blasting to your screen after that line delivery. And that wasn't just a throwaway tweet or something. This is his public reaction to a consumer win, something that protects gamers from losing their purchases. And his response? I hope you suffer by getting exactly what you asked for, like a freaking toddler. And also, why are you crying when being called names? Because remember, you're the one who started throwing poop projectiles first.
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Now, I do think that the people that are calling him P3DO and doing all kinds of ad hominem attacks on him are super ass. They are bad people.
And when I say making content out of it, one of those creators actually had his child on video with the face blurred out say, Pirate Software is a disgusting roach.
Okay.
Like,
no.
Because I believe that what Pirate Software did doesn't warrant that kind of attack. And he also doesn't deserve to be sued either. But Jason, bro, it's the internet. And as a big creator yourself, you kinda have to expect that, right? Especially if you're the one who instigated it. Because you can't just throw a grenade and complain about the shrapnel later, right? Now he could also say that, yeah, I started the fight, but people took it too far. And now that is very, very valid. But what you'd expect? That people are gonna stop because you stopped? Because I don't believe that's how the internet works. Because I think the internet works like, if you sling shit, better prepare for a shitstorm. And to think that all of this could have been avoided if he would just open his eyes and admitted that he objectively got some things wrong. Not all of it, just, tiny things. He doesn't have to strip naked and grovel down or anything. But no, Pirate Software doesn't roll like that. But you wonder, why? Why doesn't he just want to say sorry and just shoo everyone away? Well, he actually answered that himself.
When you tell the narrative, you start with I made a mistake, everyone made mistakes, I was smug. And then there's a lot that comes after that. How would you feel about just ending it after that first paragraph?
I hate that.
Okay.
I have an immediate, emotionally angry response against that.
Very good.
Because it feels like idiocracy.
Okay.
It feels like, that's too long, didn't read, I don't need all those words when few words do gooder. That I hate that shit. I super hate that kind of communication of like there's a lot of people that just say oh, you should just say my bad, guys. No, that does not in any way explain a situation. That doesn't tell you any information that is real. It is hand waving for the masses in a way that is disingenuous to what happened and disingenuous to the people that are involved. I feel like to do that would be just me lying for the sake of lying so that people would fuck off. I really hate that. That absolutely feels like idiocracy to me. 100%.
No, I think it's great.
I could go on the internet and just be like, oh yeah, my bad, guys. But that's not real. It doesn't make sense.
I think that's great.
Yeah, basically he just wants to explain himself forever, thus reinforcing the cycle of proving himself right, making people feel stupid, and then people lashing out proving that he is in fact the stupid one. Then this wheel of ego keeps spinning. Because I do think at this point that ego is all Pirate Software has. Because without ego, who even is Pirate Software? Because again, he can be right about all of this and maybe Stop Killing Games won't succeed. But it doesn't change the fact that he acted like a total douche while criticizing it and also misinterpreting stuff. And never looking back to correct himself. And it's not even that he had concerns, that's fine. He's just, he's just concerned, sure. But what makes people angry is exactly what Dr. K said. The combination of misinformation, arrogance, and complete lack of self-awareness. So yeah, I just wanted to take a deep dive on Pirate Software's ego because his ego really is something. It's very icky. That's it. Bye.